round, this bare knuckle boxing rules bout takes place in a catchweight.
So let's look at the numbers here, Chris. What do the Fightonomics tell us?
Well, Hudson is 1-1 in BKB, which has to help. But again, a little bit over on the weight, hence the catch weight of 73. How well prepared is he for this outing? We know Kosedner has been in a long camp.
So, just to remind you, this is a bare knuckle boxing
you know the rules.
bout.
Listen to my command all the time. When I said stop, you stop. Touch fist, go to your corner.
It's at catch weight under 73. The heavier fighter is Hudson. The younger fighter is Hudson. The fighter with more experience is Hudson. Make of that what you will. Buckle up. This is going to be lively right here, right now. Fighting southpaw and fighting red, Bojan Kosedner starts the action with that leading right hand.
We'll probably see a good deal of hand fighting, and again, it is BKB, so it is going to be a little bit different than with the gloves.
Got great movement. Kosedner manages to close distance, comes into the body with the left hand, and that sends a strong message to Hudson that he can close that gap and get in on the inside. Aiming for the solar plexus as well. Targeted work there from Kosedner. And you've got to admit, at 41 years of age, it's marvellous condition that he brings to this.
He's shown the ability to keep the pace up in fights, which could be advantageous here.
Very, very animated. Comes looking for work, Kosedner. There is no doubt about it. And how much of that will mean anything? Can Hudson get the finish to work here for him? So, making his FNC debut, Hudson comes in as a last-minute replacement for the original opponent in this bout, Alexander Ribiera, who broke his shoulder in training, had to go for an operation. So again, another disadvantage, if you like, for Kosedner, because he'll have watched the tape on Ribiero and will have seen what he can do, only to be faced with another fighter that is probably very similar in terms of boxing styles, but it's not the same guy.
Hudson's a little bit too much of a deer in the headlights for me. We usually see a lot more aggression from him in his MMA fights, for example, but typically he struggled with being taken down. Of course, that's not a factor here. Kosedner, I'm liking the looks. I'm liking the activity. A lot of feinting here.
Kosedner very busy. And at the end of the first round, the first 2 minutes tells us that Kosedner's come to do business, isn't he? Can he keep up that pace?
That's always going to be a question. And I think he probably can. I think he definitely can.
So, nothing really to extrapolate from that round. Probably very even. I don't think anyone did anything meaningful. Scoring-wise?
Tough to say. There was very, very little landed. Kosedner had a couple of punches. I'm going to give it to him, but you know, there really wasn't a lot in it. It seemed like Hudson was trying to pull a counter out of him, but just couldn't catch any timing or rhythm.
Absolutely. Well, look, you know, Hudson will have just wanted to have a little look-see before he committed. Good hands there from Kosedner, and what it shows very dramatically is Kosedner can close that distance in the blink of an eye. Good work from him so far, and yeah, I think he probably edged that round for aggression, for the amount of attempted strikes, probably, and strikes landed. Let's see, we're going to play out. We go to round two. This is BKB, so those hits count, and as you can see from the taped hands, if you can land those shots, well, they are going to hurt, they're going to work. And let's just see what demons are outside the door for both these two as they go to it in the second round.
Hudson's definitely a little bit more assertive here, but Kosedner seems just that much quicker off the trigger.
Yeah, the work is good, the footwork's good, the hands are good, the feinting is good, but you only need a good one, and I think Hudson's put his stock in getting that right hand across. You know, for a BKB bout, this is a high level of skill, good feinting, good boxing. Kosedner smiling just there a second ago. He does enjoy himself. This is what he does, and this is what he loves doing. And as I mentioned earlier in the preamble, he just needs a gum shield and a pair of shorts to be happy.
Hudson landed a good jab. That's really been the only significant punch of the first 60 seconds.
Well, we're running down this round. Good movement from Hudson. He's keeping out of trouble. He doesn't want to commit. It's a strategy. I mean, this is the name of the game, to hit and not be hit. But Koshedna's bringing the heat. Just can't get anything to land meaningfully. So that's a testimony to Hudson's availability to keep out of trouble. Left-right combination. It's good classic stuff from the Portuguese fighter. But Koshedna working, looking for work, and it's good work because the hands are up, fresh hands, and that head movement has not lapsed from guard duty for 1 second.
Nice jab again from Hudson. Second time he's landed it. This time it was around the guard, around the right hand, actually right over the top of the right hand of Kosednar.
Kosednar now trying to bring heavy traffic to this, and that was the end of the round. And if you look to the end of the bout, well, although they're defensive and they're calculating, this could be very interesting as we move on.
I agree. Kosednar landed a left straight there right at the end. You can see he was hyped from that, but 2 punches landed, 2 jabs for Hudson, and 1 left straight for Kosednar really in that round.
Yeah, both industrially good. That was a good level of work. And you just don't want to see a brawl. You want to see skills at work here, and that's what we're saying. Bit of trouble on the nose of Kosednar. He's cut there.
Yeah, and you've said it exactly. There is a high level of skill in this, and there's a high level of risk without the gloves. You don't have the same coverage and defense with your gloves. Here we go. That's one of the jabs Hudson landed. There we go. Same replay of that. Really lovely. He almost switched up into it, actually, going to the from the orthodox to the southpaw to load it.
Yeah, and look at it. As he lands it, Kosednar knows straight away that he's cut, and that bridge of the nose, whilst won't cause him any trouble psychologically, he knows that Hudson can hit the target and hit it hard. I think they won a piece. I think that was Hudson's round, and we go into the third. So 2 minutes of bare knuckle boxing fight action here at FNC22. Let's see how this plays out. Kosednar now steps up the action, starts to move in, starts to assert himself on the inside, closing the distance, looking to hand heavier shots. Hudson knows that he's caused a little bit of an upset and some trouble there, but just look at those numbers. 41 years of age, plays 36, 34. I mean, that's a huge age differential. You know, props to Kosednar. Takes another shot there. That's not going to wear well. And then, yeah, there's a cut. That's unfortunate. And Hudson knew straight away he'd done damage. So that's the nose and the eye now. I think we're going to have a little look at that. And it was a slicing cut. They might just wave this off. I think that's too much damage. So strategy from Hudson. Stinging, cutting shots. Dropped that right hand in twice. Caused a problem for the nose in the second and now in the third. That eye. Well, they're going to let him fight on.
Very interesting. It looks like it was not in a position to impede vision, so that's the decision.
But Kosednar now under extreme pressure here. There's no time for him now. He's got to pull the trigger, because if he doesn't start owning the space, he knows it, he's going to get more and more trouble from Hudson. Hudson will pick him off, and that's a hard pill to swallow because he was not the scheduled fighter. But Hudson looking fairly unscathed at this point in round 3. So Kosednar just looking a little bit pizza pie. Has to come in, has to throw caution to the wind to try and get into this and cause some problems for Hudson.
You can see him trying to clear his vision over and over and over here. Hudson's looking really strong. He seemed to kind of rope-a-dope a little bit in the first round. Like you said, tie ball game after 2. And I think in my eyes, starting to open up a little bit here in the third, and that's what's got him this round so far in my view.
Yeah, he's edged an advantage, and he's now going to take advantage. Beautiful slip previously there from Kosednar. He ducked under and came in with the right hook, just didn't connect. But Kosednar now has woken up and smelt the coffee, and he's coming to trade, looking, marching forward, just checking the eye, and Hudson saying, look, you can't do it in the time.
That's been the story of this fight. It's almost been a case of I told you so. You go, I go, my turn, your turn. Some congratulatory talk there in the middle of the cage. Interesting, very, very interesting. The away fighter on short notice drops the first round, then comes back, cuts the favorite.
Well, make no mistake, there is no flirting with mediocrity here. That first round was a little look to see what was happening, but this second round, just look at that pop there. The right hand goes in and he immediately causes problems for Kosedna, and it was targeted and it was twisted. That right hand, the knuckle, the point on that punch as he twisted it in, just look at the damage it's caused there. And I think they may just have to look at that seriously, because yeah, I just think the doctors need to maybe just have a little look, or the cut men, to see if they can just stop the problem there. But we're going into 4, so they've got to hustle and keep it moving. And a tough night for Bojan Kosedna, no two ways about it. So round 4, and they've done a good job in the corner, but he's got to protect it. And Hudson's got that right in the crosshairs, and he's going to land on that like a Boeing 747 coming down at New York City Airport. It's brightened up his act, as you've said, Chris. Hudson now getting busy.
And the onus is on Kosedna to perform. That's the thing, this is always such a high stakes shootout in the BKB rules.
Hudson backing up here as Kosedna brings the heat. Kosedna knows that if he can get in on the inside and get a little bit of a check hook or a cross, he could do this.
Kosedna's got to put the pressure on, for sure. He's got to protect, obviously, as you said, but also produce some offense.
And it's great work. Kosedna on his toes. This is the 4th round, Mark Hugh. He's been hurt twice in 2 rounds, but no fear. Hunts his man down, but Hudson, fleet of foot, on his toes. Funkier footwork there than James Brown Hudson to keep out of trouble. That's going to be frustrating for Kosedna. Kosedna needs to land a power shot to give the strong message to Hudson that you're going to be punished if you come in.
Hudson's just got to keep cutting some angles here in these exchanges, especially as Kosedna comes forward. The right straight or the left hook, either would be good.
That was a big right hand again, and Kosedna now can't keep going to the well. He's getting hurt here, and this is great. A great display of skill level from Hudson. The boxing is right up there, on his toes, using everything. When he moves backwards, he hits as he goes, and he's taken that round again. Good strike there from Kosedna, but it's just too little, probably too late.
A lot of patience from Hudson too. It's nice, very disciplined performance, and we saw that again from the first round. He's matured through the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It was a good round there for Kosedna. It was actually one of the more even rounds in this contest because both guys landed a couple of good punches. Props to Kosedna for staying in this fight too, because for sure he's been put through some adversity.
So we go to the 5th round. So far, so good for Rafael Hudson. Smart joined up fighting. Just look at the action, Chris. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, double attempted a check hook. And what Hudson does so well is once he runs out of space, you know, the cage is starting to close in on his back, he starts to evade. He doesn't just sit there and wait or freeze or kind of lose his cool. He stayed very relaxed. Kosedna was chasing that left straight a couple of times. Here we go. He pitched that one lovely right over the top of the guard. He's still very capable, but the speed advantage that I saw for Kosedna from the outset doesn't quite seem as definitive as it once was.
5th and final. And Kosedna still very much in this, but he needs a Hail Mary, he needs a rabbit from a hat. Hudson can cruise this out well away on points, but when you come to a hometown favourite, you need to be decisive, and I don't know if Hudson has been that. It was more of a stumble. Kosedna got the heart of a lion here, hasn't he? I mean, his heart's the size of half of Europe.
He's certainly got to press the pace. He knows the ball is in his court and he has to return hard.
They've done a good job healing and shutting up that eye. They've closed it down. Oh, and he gets banged. There's the knockdown. You're going to take account for that. Oh, that right hand was search and destroy. Whoa. Kosedna was hurt by that. How does he stand up? He's good to go. Well, I think there goes the bout. But it ain't over till it's over. 56 seconds left. Can Bojan Košedna drop something heavy on Hudson, or will he get clipped trying to do it? That was a lightning bolt of perfection from Hudson, and he knows it, and he's just going to keep out of trouble and do it again. Right, left this time, switches up the combinations and the hand skills. Great boxing here from Hudson. He came to do business tonight, and that's what he's done. Košedna's done nothing wrong. Great footwork, great guard. He's just done nothing wrong here tonight, but Hudson just slightly slicker and slightly more nuanced, more nounced. 10-second clapper, Košedna knows it this time. Košedna sends his man down, and Košedna says, where's the count? But it was a stumble in the getaway. Referee says, fight on. There it is. That's the end.
Drama, 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 Will. Drama from bell to bell to bell. That last round, the onus on Košedna. Incredible, though. Gets knocked down, comes back hard. Hudson, though, very, very focused and disciplined performance. Smart performance, like you said, a slick performance.
Listen, let me give you the bottom line on this. This was about Košedna. Bang! He takes that right hand right on the chin. This was about Košedna cutting the ring. He didn't do it. He chased Hudson. And Hudson took him on a little merry tour of the city. And round and round and round he went, and Košedna followed. And Košedna should have cut the angle of that ring and made Hudson pay for having that defensive attitude to it. But hey, look, it's all very well for us to sit cage side and say shoulda, woulda, coulda. Tonight, Hudson, late replacement, and he kept it from getting messy. He really was a demolition man here tonight. He started off slow, Muay Thai style, didn't he? First round, second round, third round, fourth round. By the fifth round, he was cooking, and he was cooking with gas, and he absolutely roasted Košedna here tonight.
Yeah, and you mentioned being a ring cutter in a cage, a lot more difficult than a squared circle.
At the end of those 5 completed rounds of action, we go to your judges' scorecards, where we have a majority decision in favor of your winner. From Portugal, Rafael Apocalypse Hudson! And show your appreciation for our runner-up, Bojan ZELVA Košedna.
Well, interesting, the decision there from the judges, but they obviously saw it how they saw it. The right decision, but yeah, listen, I don't know. I think Košedna had his moments in the early rounds, so maybe the majority decision, the right one. What were the numbers for you, Chris?
Yeah, unanimous decision. I think a very clear decision, especially with the knockdown, the cut, and certainly one of those rounds very obviously for Hudson. Košedna maybe 2 rounds at most, but no more. There's no way to argue that. So somewhere in there was a draw, hence the majority decision.
So the right decision anyway, and Hudson, the usurper, comes in and
congratulations,
takes the win here. We're going to hear what he's got to say.
Very happy and satisfied. How was it from the inside, from the cage?
Para mim foi uma ótima experiência, foi minha primeira vez no luta sem luva, e muito obrigado a todo mundo. É isso, nosso treino lá na Híbrido é muito forte, independentemente do que acontece aqui, a gente já passa o sufoco que tem que passar. Muito obrigado a toda a galera, nossa coach, todo mundo.
Congratulations. My training is very strong. My colleagues fighters very strong. I'm ready for our fights.
This was your first fight at FNC, so yeah, we hope to see you again. Congratulations one more time, maybe in MMA, maybe in bare knuckle. Ladies and gentlemen, dame i gospodo, Rafael Hudson!